everyone. In this lesson we're going to continue on with teaching Allie how to jump. So as you can see, I have these two jumps. They're a straight line and they are pretty close. I am going to run her over the two jumps and take a look at her stride and then kind of adjust as needed. This is going to depend on your dog. What I'm looking for is for her to sit down into her rear when she takes off, to really push with her rear end and push herself over the jump. I don't want to see her trying to throw herself over with her front end or anything of that nature. So the reason they're close is the closer we get to kind of a bounce jumping scenario, then basically they land and immediately have to engage the rear in order to take off again. Whereas if we had, say, 20 feet in between these two jumps, they would have a chance to take a couple strides and then grab with their front end and pull, as opposed to engaging their rear and pushing. Now I got a good question via email of how do we start sequencing? How do we start, doing serpentines and pinwheels and all that sort of stuff? Right now, all I'm focused on is jumping. Her form, how her speed, how she's putting herself over the jumps and all that. I will start teaching her to sequence jumps when I know she is physically and mentally capable of first jumping the jump. So right now I am not working towards serpentines, pinwheels, or sequencing. I am strictly teaching her how to jump. I'm assuming once we've, before I start jumping, this is going back into foundation stuff, but before I start a lot of my training, my dogs do a lot of groundwork. They go through hoops, they learn all the body positions, they learn what out means here, and all that sort of thing. So when I start sequencing jumps, it's a fairly easy process because they already understand what all my basic body language means. So I don't really focus on I'm going to teach my dog to jump and we're sequencing serpentines, pinwheels, etc., because that will all kind of mesh together. Once she understands how to jump, that's going to mesh together with what I've taught her for foundation of she understands what an out, a here, a switch, and all that is. So I'm going to run her over this. I'm going to try the best I can to kind of watch her stride and see what she does. It's best when you're at home to video it, look at it, and then you can even put it in slow motion and kind of take a look at what your dog's body is doing, and then decide if you need to spread this out or move it close together. In the next lesson, we're going to start going into turning because dogs, we do a lot of straight line stuff, and I really want her to learn how to use her body on a curve. So I do some of the straight line just to get her used to it, get her engaging her rear end, and then pretty fast I'm going to start curving her so she learns how to bend her spine coming around these jumps. Come on, Alia. Leave the gophers alone. Come on. All right. Allie. Focus, focus. Wait. Good. So I like that spacing a lot. As you can see, Allie, leave the gophers. As you can see, she jumps, she lands, she jumps, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. Where, Allie? Good. Good. Let's go the other direction. Sit. Nope. Sit. Good. Very good. And I'm going to stay to this side of the jump so you guys can see her and my body's not blocking you. Whoa. Sit. Wait. Okay. Good, that was me. Sorry. Watching you too much. Come here. Sit. Okay. Good. And it'll also give you an idea, if you film this, it'll give you an idea of their stride. Where they take off, where they land. And a lot of what she's doing is going to change dramatically as we go through this jumping program, and even as she starts trialing, when she goes through novice and even into open. Most dogs, in my opinion, depending on how much time you spend in novice, don't really get a feel for their stride and how to use their body till they're into open, and they have a few trials under their belt, and they understand what to do when they turn to the left, turn to the right, a 4-jump run, a tight followed by a 4-jump run. All that sort of stuff won't all come together until they've been doing it for a little while. So even through this program, I would expect to, she must have went for gopher, yep. I would expect to see her change as far as where she takes off and where she lands as she starts to get more comfortable of her body and what she should be doing with it. So I'm going to do this in like just those few reps I did. That's about all my training session consists of. I don't want to sit here and just beat her into the ground with it. I want it to be fast, fun, happy, and done. So I'll come out, run her back and forth, say 5-6 times, be done. Even if I come back out later this evening, do another repetition of it and be done. So I will do this probably I'll do another session again tonight, do another session again in the morning, and then I'll film our next lesson of putting her on a curve and start showing what I want to look for, and she starts learning to bend her spine and jumping while turning. Because in my opinion, that's a skill that is sometimes overlooked. We don't quite teach our dogs how to jump and turn all at the same time. So I really want to focus on a lot of jump patterns and jump grids that really focus on her learning how to change her leads, learning how to bend her spine, and all that. As far as targets and things like that, I tend not to do a lot of targeting in this situation because I don't want her just hauling, run into a target. I want her to really focus on jump and jump. As you see, I start her fairly close. I let her land, give her her treat. I don't want her focus to be on not her body and on a target. So in this case, I don't do a lot of targeting stuff. I just kind of want her to really feel her body out. So in the next lesson, we'll talk about some curve stuff. I'll probably film her next sessions that I do of her jump training so you guys can kind of watch her progression as we go through. I really do film every one of these sessions is my training session. That's why sometimes they're spaced out, because as you can see, the weather is awful. So you will really get to see her progression from her very first lesson to all the way into jumping her at 16, which we'll talk about jump heights because she's not a 12-inch dog, she's a 16-inch dog. So we'll talk about that, how we start increasing our heights as well in the next couple of sessions, and I'll probably even do an audio lecture because it's easier for me to talk than it is to type because I'm a talker. All right, see you guys in the next lesson.